Welcome to the 37th meeting of the Liquor Commission. When addressing the commission, please remember to state and spell your name clearly and to speak into the microphone. Calling agenda item number 1, public hearing application number 224-00539 from VSE Texas de Brazil, Alamoana, LLC.
Thank you very much, Chairman, Commissioners. Devin Nicoba here representing VSE Texas de Brazil, Alamoana LLC. To my right is Shana Yamada, Yada. She is the VP for Union Mac.
All right, Mr. Sata.
Thank you, Chair and Commissioners. Due to, I guess, new information that we discovered, administration will be asking for our continuance regarding member change to the entity. If the applicant can give us a time frame to a date certain.
We'll be able to get it worked out by next. Excuse me. Sorry, still trying to get my voice back.
Okay.
We should be able to get it addressed by next week. There's some we were notified that there is another person, another entity added on to the members for the organization. And so we're trying to get to the bottom of that. It was given to us today, so we're gonna get that worked out, and we'll work with Mr. Sato to clear that.
Okay, so we're holding the public hearing open. That's how that works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Continue to the April 25th meeting. Public hearing kept open.
Okay, all right.
So we need to make a motion, right?
It's
So my motion will be to for agenda item number 1, application number 24.0000539 to keep the public hearing kept open and reschedule to April 25th, 2024.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to hold open application number 24-00539 to April 25th. Any nays or reservations? Seeing none, I also vote aye. The agenda item is approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Calling agenda item number 2, application number 24-01719-1 through 24-01719-10 from Hawaiian Airlines. And for the record, go ahead, Chair. I'll recuse myself. And the chair will also be recusing from this item. And I'd like to announce West Vaughn. Mr. Vaughn will be acting as a third commissioner for this agenda item. For forum.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. All right. All right.
I'll still do it. Yeah. Thank you.
Good afternoon, members of the commission. Robert Uyoka on behalf of Hawaiian Airlines. Present to my right, Ms. Joanna Franco. She is a senior manager with Hawaiian Airlines. First name Johanna, last name Franco. I'd like to welcome Commissioner Fong. It's nice to see you again. Nice to see you. Nice to see you.
Nice seeing all of you, and you're still here, huh? Are you all the gentlemen over there?
Definitely qualified with the Liquor Commission matters. This is an application for an extension of our existing special liquor license for the APT 1929 VIP Lounge at the Honolulu International Airport. I do have photos if you just wanted to see that regarding our lounge. We do have an existing Plumeria lounge that has a liquor license This is located right next door. This one is kind of an upscale personalized service lounge, and it's I want to just give you photos just so okay. If I may approach. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks. We just did a site inspection, so I just figured I might as well use the photos. That's what it looks, kind of a different look than the Plumeria lounge. Upscale, you see an outdoor area. It's completely secured, completely walls around it. If you look at the floor plan and file as well. Just want to mention, we do have a pending dispenser application. It was filed in September 2023. that is being processed by the department. So this special liquor license is essential to allow us to continue to serve alcohol. So we definitely appreciate the three commissioners today to be here.
Okay. Thank you. Commissioners, any comments or questions or any type of action?
If I may, Mr. Chair. First of all, it's nice seeing such old faces still here. Golly, I mean, I really feel old. It's been 8 years, I think, since I left. And they're really hard up. They gotta get old ghosts from the past. But I'm happy to help out. I'm here today and gone tomorrow, so.
Thank you so
Just-
much.
Yeah, just a couple of questions. The Plumeria Lounge, this is more of a personal question first. How do you qualify to get into the Plumeria Lounge?
If
And
we-
for better yet, this VIP lounge.
Yeah, the Plumeria Lounge is given to any first-class travelers, international and mainland. And so they have access to that. And this one is a special request lounge. So it's kind of those people at Plumeria and that get elevated to this level. It's an upscale elevated service. So what we do is take them over from Plumeria and actually walk them over to this APT 1929. I thought you were gonna ask me what 1929 is for. That's the year Hawaiian Air was formed, right? Okay,
Yes.
okay. I had to look that up. So.
The next question is more of the business questions now. What kind of alcohol are you gonna serve?
This one focuses a wide variety, but it does have a specialty on hard liquor as well. I think we have some bar leather apron, some knowledge, but of course we're operating it, but we kind of use some of their expertise and specialty whiskeys and what have you. So it's kind of a different feeling than the Plumeria Lounge, but trying to serve our customers.
So I noticed from your picture over here, there's a counter. It's like a liquor counter. Are you gonna have something like the United Club or some of the other clubs? Should they have a bartender?
This is going to be a personalized service, table service, no self-service in this one. It's going to be, we walk it out and it's kind of personalized. We have individual areas that we serve people. So it's really a upscale VIP lounge.
So that way you can monitor persons who are under 21.
Absolutely. And because of the special classification, this place is hardly ever full. We try to keep it exclusive and try to not have a lot of people in there. So we're able to monitor just because there's not many people in there at any given time, even before flights. It's just not that. It's not intended to be somewhere where we just transfer everybody over. It's for that special upscale customer.
And of course, you're gonna limit the number of drinks the person has, especially a hard liquor. Right?
Absolutely. Anybody that looks intoxicated, we will not serve. And we definitely are mindful of not serving the minors.
Is there, wait, okay, is it
That's-
just, is everything hosted, the liquor?
Yeah, this one it's table service. I mean, it's basically served individually to
Not
tables.
paid for. Right,
No,
it's-
no.
everything is hosted, okay.
Right, it's
I was looking at and it says no host. Or how will liquor be dispensed, no host?
Yeah, we do host the alcohol.
Okay. Okay. I have no other questions, Chair.
It's more a technical question. I noticed that in the application, there was a note in regards to having a neighborhood board. Have we received that?
I know we did submit it. We did a notice and we did submit it. If it isn't submitted, as far as we definitely submitted it, just a proof of the receipt, which was submitted as well, but I can check on that and we'll definitely do that, the proof of receipt before we pick up the license.
But it is a prerequisite.
Absolutely. We did do both, but I want to make sure that it was received by the commission and make sure it's in the file.
And the neighborhood board, is it there to approve or disapprove or just for notice? Out of
This one's a little unusual because it's airport neighborhood
Yes.
board. So we just kind of send it just because we have to, but we haven't received a response from them at all. Like as far
So
as schedule for a hearing.
They just review it or they have to approve or disapprove?
Just as basically if there's no action, it goes through. There's no approval required, but notification is required.
But it is a prerequisite before issuing the license.
Absolutely, yes.
With that, unless there are other questions, Mr. Chair, read the script. Before it was real simple. Let's see if I got the script. I move that we move into executive session to consult with the board's attorney on questions and issues on a matter pertaining to the board's powers, duties, privileges, immunities, and liabilities. Never had to read it before, but I gotta read it now. So I'll make that motion, Mr. Chair.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. I also vote aye. We are now in executive session. Oh, wait. Okay, thank you. We'll call the meeting back to order. We're back from executive session. In executive session, we did have some discussion in regards to the qualifications that were discussed previously to us going into an executive session.
Okay.
I'll open the floor back up to our commissioners.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Actually, when we were in executive session, we were informed that the neighborhood board did receive notification of this license request.
Yes.
And we were also informed by corp counsel that it's not necessary to have neighborhood board approval for your license.
Thank you, Corporation Counsel.
And what we need to do is to verify that am I correct? Are we correct?
Yeah, Commissioner Fong. Council has shown a copy of the neighborhood board certified return receipt. And I believe that statutory requirement or that requirement has been met.
Just for the record, we did mail it out on March 15th. And on March 21st, we did submit the certified return request to the meeting.
That's good to hear. Looking forward to the new opening of your, what are you gonna call it? Part of the Plumeria Lounge or the VIP lounge or?
It's called APT period 1929, apartment 1929. That's what it's called.
Sound very sexy.
Sounds exclusive.
Yeah. Anyway, Mr. Chairman, in light of that revelation, I move that we approve the application of Hawaiian Airlines number 24-01719-1 to 24-01719-10.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve application number 24-01719-1 to 24-01719-10 inclusively. All those in favor? Any nays?
Aye.
I also vote aye. Motion carries. Approval. Application is approved.
Thank you so much.
you.
Thank you. Thank you again, Commissioner Fong. Thank you.
And again, thank you to Commissioner Fong for stepping in for
Thank you
this
so much.
matter.
Not at all. And nice seeing all of you and thank you for the privilege of returning after 8 years. You can call me, I'll call you.
Thank you.
Oh,
All right, thank you very much.
Take care, sir. Yeah, let's hear it. Yeah.
Thank you to our guest commissioner. Calling agenda item number 3, application number 24-01746, Events International.
Sorry, Chair.
Oh.
The applicant has requested to move this to April 25th. meeting.
Calling agenda item number 4, application number 24-01830 from Island Sound Studios LLC.
Good afternoon, Chair, Commissioners. Stephanie Fuller here representing Island Sound Studios LLC. To my right is Mr. Brian Spicer, BRYANSPICER. He's the owner of Island Sound Studios. We do not have any changes to the report. And we're happy to answer any questions you may have.
There's questions.
So, Mr. Nakova, am I correct? If I read through the report, no minors are going to be at this?
No, it is 21 and over.
Okay. Also, if I read your prior stuff that there was going to be ticket sales in advance, do you guys have a current ticket sale number if possible?
You mean a phone number?
No, like how many?
So it says in the application that you're gonna have pre-sale
Pre-sale
tickets.
tickets.
And so it says you're gonna have an average between 100 to 50 to 100 people. Because
Right now, it's 50 seats. That's all we have per show. So 2 shows a night would be 100 people per night.
Okay,
Each show's about an hour and a half, 2 hours long. It's like the Blue Note.
okay.
Buy tickets and come to a show.
Are you located on the waterfront?
They were right next to Long's Drugs on the right.
Well, we've had some issues with noise complaints from establishments on that side,
Yeah.
from the condos on the other side of the water. Will there be speakers outside? Will their doors be open? Anything of that nature?
We're facing towards Costco and we're a sound studio, so everything's soundproof. As soon as we close the doors, we'll close the doors at 9:30 or 10 so that no sound will go outside. And the show's over at about 10:30.
Thank you. Great. That's my question as well.
I have no other questions.
Motion.
Motion to approve, agenda item number 4, application number 24-01830.
Second.
Then moved and seconded to approve application number 24-01830. Any nays or reservations? Seeing none, I also vote aye. The application is approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Calling agenda item number 5, application number 24-00800.
Good afternoon, Chair, members of the Commission, Keith Kiyuchi, attorney and authorized agent for the applicant, which is Kizuna Japanese Restaurant 2 Inc. We have no changes or additions to an investigator's report. This is located in the Aikahi shopping center, but it's not the main building where Safeway is. If you understand that shopping center, the Safeway is a larger building and there's an alleyway that goes in between. This is the building on the other side of the alleyway. So this is actually on the backside. It's actually got a different TMK and a different street address. But this is being operated by the same owners that operate Kizuna and Kaneohe. So they have experience and they've done this before. And I want to say this application was processed by licensing in a pretty timely manner because my client isn't even open yet because they don't have their building permit. So the liquor license might have been in the building permit for a change. So
Wow, thank you, everyone.
So, Mr. Kichi, that's the set of buildings that are actually like behind
Right.
Safeway, right?
Right.
Not the ones that are on the other side, right?
Right.
Those are-
correct.
Okay,
Yeah, it's not the old oak, the others. It's on the other side. Once upon a time, I think the vet used to be there.
okay.
So that gives you context.
Yeah.
Yeah.
better. Okay. I have no other questions. Motion to approve application number 24-00800.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve application number 24-00800. Any nays or reservations? Seeing none, I also vote aye. The application is approved.
Thank you very much.
Calling agenda item number 6, application number 24-01838. Taqueria El Ranchero LLC.
Good afternoon, Chair Hong and members of the Commission. Neil Gota, appearing on behalf of Taqueria El Ranchero LLC. Appearing with me is Hector Garcia Gomez, member of the applicant. We have no changes to the investigative report. For the record, this is a Cinco de Mayo event at the Old Fisherman's Wharf. It is an enclosed beer garden, 1 entry point, 1 exit point. Security will be monitoring both entry and exit points. Individuals will be banded, and there will be roaming security throughout the beer garden.
Just a question. Where's the normal restaurant for the taqueria?
Wahiwa.
Okay, got it. Oh, I see. Yeah.
So, Mr. Gota, quick question. So I know that this area is like a raised platform area.
Correct.
Over there. So what are we, so is that the whole raised area will be considered your beer garden?
Correct. The
So what
extra
will be
parking
this
area
bench?
is for storage.
Okay.
No drinking.
Right. So what will be, what do you guys plan to use to delineate, right? Because technically, if I remember that area, you can step right up anywhere along, right? So what are you going to use to block off the spacing so people cannot actually just walk in wherever they want?
There's crowd control fences from safety systems.
Okay. All right. And they're gonna band at the entrance, right? Not at the bar.
Correct, at the entrance.
Okay. I have no other questions. Okay. Motion to approve application number 24-01838.
Second?
And moved and seconded to approve application number 24-01838. Any nays or reservations? Seeing none. I also vote aye. The application is approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Calling agenda item number 7, 12-month review.
Seeing you a lot today, I apologize.
But I don't see you with any axe injuries, so that's quite
No,
good.
no, You're here with no accident.
Right.
Devin Nicola, here with Blade and Timber. To my right is the CEO of Blade and Timber, Mr. Matt Basinger. To just behind me is Mr. Dan Smith. Oh, sorry, Basinger is Baysinger. We also have Mr. Dan Smith here, SMITH. He is the divisional manager for Blade and Timber. We're here for our 1-year review.
All right, commissioners, any questions?
So how's it been going?
Yeah.
For the 1 year? Because I would like to say I probably am the only one. Well, maybe you were here.
No,
for the
I
beginning.
missed that one. And it
I
was-
might be the
yeah,
only
yeah.
one left that
It's
knows from the
immensely-
very first one
Actually,
from the beginning of this concept.
Mr. Basinger actually has a. Okay, it's got some a little bit of detail.
Okay,
About how things have gone with the business. Mr. Basinger can go over that.
Yep. And I can, nice to meet all of you who didn't have the chance to meet, either a year ago or 6 months ago. Vice Chair Hollander, good to see you again. Has been going very well. And so, gave some information, in comparison to the other stores that we have. As a quick catch up, we operate 6 stores around the country. We've been doing business in Honolulu since 2015. We've been doing axe throwing in Honolulu since 2019. We've been at this location now for just a couple of years. We were on Queen Street originally and moved to this with the hopes of getting a liquor license, which you all granted for us on a provisional case. In 1 year, the biggest thing just personally to report is our sales were up 18.8%, which for a small business like ours is a significant number and is very helpful, for what we're trying to accomplish of providing jobs and providing amazing experiences. I can go through the data a little bit. I know you all are already going through a couple things, but just as a quick catch up. And so we were granted kind of this 1 year provisional license. We self-imposed and kind of requested or said, hey, we'll go ahead and do these things a little bit differently than how we operate other stores, just to kind of receive the blessing and also to be even more stringent with our already existing rules that we have at our other locations. What we presented and was accepted was that we would install modular safety netting behind the guests who are participating. If any of you have had, I know we've had, folks who have seen our operations, but so modular safety netting between the guests and where other guests are sitting was a request that we thought made a lot of sense at the time. I'll talk to that here in just a second. At all of our other stores, we have a 3-drink limit. And when I say 3-drink limit, I want to also be very clear that there are times where if we feel like folks have had beverages before they show up, or if they're not safe in any capacity, either because of potential inebriation or even being buzzed, or just because they're acting like fools, we cut them off anyway. So that is a maximum. That doesn't mean we always allow guests to hit that maximum. Typically we do 3. Here in Hawaii, we did 2. We also, in line with what we already do, we have a ratio of 1 coach for 2 lanes. We do that at all of our stores. We've continued to do that. And then, we had to work with HCDA as well. And all of those were requisites to receiving the liquor license. I come to you today, obviously, with some data on the first page, just comparing our liquor sales of our Honolulu store to both our Portland store and our Kansas City store, which is our flagship store. So just some rough numbers, and I know you've already read them, but just to state them out loud. In Kansas City, over the course of the last 365 days, as of yesterday, we had 14,026 guests. We served 22,790 alcoholic beverages. That's an average of 1.62 drinks per user. I just want to be clear here that we do have guests who will come in and use it as a bar and have nothing to do with axe throwing. So that doesn't mean that everyone who's throwing axes is drinking, or everyone who's drinking is throwing axes. In Portland, we had 10,353 guests. We served 16,932 alcoholic beverages, or a total of 1.63 drinks per user. And in Honolulu, we had 11,824 guests, 12,118 alcoholic beverages served, or about 1.02 drinks per user. And then, of course, because we're a restaurant, the food component, as we know, is very important. Pleased to share with you that our food sales are 37% of our overall food and beverage sales. And so we're currently 7% above the threshold that's required in order to ensure that we're doing restaurant operations effectively. You know, and I'm not sure if this is a good time to move on to the requests that we have as far as what we would maybe be asking for to modify some of our imposed rules. I know you've already read those in bold, or if I should just take a pause and allow for some questions and feedback.
Let's take a pause.
Sure. Great.
So in Kansas City, it is a bar, you said. Is that correct? Or did I-
All three of these locations are bar. They have bars.
So you can just go and
That is
have a
correct.
bar experience as
That is
opposed to. Okay.
Would there still be the drink limit?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so our goal and so all the other locations, yes, we have a 3-drink limit. At our other stores,
you're
we
throwing
have
or not.
we have a 2-drink limit here.
Whether you're throwing or not?
No, that is just for those who are participating. for throwing.
Okay, that's right.
Oh, and that's where I was going. So if you wanted to, you could just sit at the bar and have more than 3 drinks.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yep. This is the wristband system, so folks who are coming in, they're always gonna have one of these 4. The folks who are drinking, excuse me, the folks who are throwing, it's the green is go, right? And then we have these punches with the axes on it, and so we're keeping track of anyone who wants to throw.
And you don't get to switch from a bar tap to a throw tap. Okay. Just wondering.
Great
Fair question,
questions.
fair
Yeah,
question.
great questions.
I'm gonna have questions like when they go through their,
Yeah.
what they wanna, change on their license.
Perfect.
Say my any questions will be related to the requests.
All right, please go ahead.
Good time to move to requests?
Yes.
Yep. So we have these modular nets that we've installed. You know, in the year that we've been doing this, as well as all of our other locations where we might have, in Seattle, we have kind of a fencing that's behind as well. We've never had someone throw it backwards. And I don't mean just in the last year, I mean ever. It's never happened, right? The nets that we've installed, they're more of a hindrance is how we feel about it. You know, guests are having to kind of pick them up to go under them or to go around them. I don't think it's a great guest experience. I also don't think it adds to the safety. Just because this hasn't been an incident that we've seen in any of our stores over the course of the years we've been doing this since 2017. And so one of our requests is to have the opportunity to remove those nets. Obviously, if there are guests who want them, we'd be happy to have those for guests who feel that they are important, but we would like it to not be a requirement, but to be something that we can give guests if they opt into that. And they kind of just roll up, so it's really easy to just have them go away above the lanes or have them pulled down if guests opt for that. So that's one of my requests. And then the other request is that we move from the 2 beverages per customer to our standard 3 beverages per customer that we have at the rest of our stores.
So my first question will be, under the beverages currently, right, there's a limit of 2. How many individuals over this year have you basically told you cannot give an additional beverage to who's asked for an additional beverage?
It's a great question. I actually don't have the answer to that. We had some discussion about this at the 6-month review and initially, and I think because we set the tone very early on, we say, hey, you only get to have 2 beverages. And that's what is understood by folks as they book online and then sign the waiver and then go through the initial 15 minutes of instructions with our coaches. If they haven't listened the first 3 times, you know, there might be a time or 2, but we haven't tracked that information. And to my knowledge, it's not been something that's happened with any sort of regularity.
So the other part with the netting, right, the safety portion. So where is the actual, so if I decided to come to your establishment and decide to just drink alcohol at your regular bar, where is the bar in comparison to the throwing lanes or where the axes would be thrown?
The bar is centrally located, and I don't think it would be humanly possible to have an axe go towards the bar just with the way that the lanes are set up. Our lanes they're 6 feet by 20 feet. I could give you a diagram. I could draw one up really quickly or send one to you. But basically you have a bunch of lanes up here.
Okay.
You have a bunch of lanes down here. They're going this way.
Okay.
And then you have a bar in the middle.
There's no tables or anything that people could sit at behind the throwing lane.
There are, so the netting currently separates the throwing lanes from the tables. Yes, that is actually the case. So similar to bowling, right, where you have the folks who are kind of right behind the bowling lane, we have a very comparable setup. Our lanes are 19 feet long. Most folks are throwing from 12 to 15 feet, so there's already anywhere from 4 to 7 feet of protective buffer. And then the tables are an additional 2 to 3 feet behind the end of the lanes.
Pretty far back. Each of you.
Have there been any accidents over the past year? No.
They're very, I think, going into this, Mr. Basinger has always said that safety is the main thing that they do when they do this. It's not they went into it knowing that these are axes, they're sharp. And so for them, the safety and your awareness of the fact that this is an actual axe that you're throwing is, and because I've done it more than one time. And it doesn't matter how many times you go, they make you go through the instructions. The person who's standing there is standing there watching you throw. And really honestly, you need to do some serious work to throw the thing back that far. Because the table is so far back, it's like you'd probably be throwing, probably like where I'm sitting is where the table would be, and then you'd be throwing further. And so you'd have to actually be making a serious effort to try to reach people. So
Statistically, we've been doing this since 2017. It's been a sport in North America since 2015. I've never heard of an axe going backwards. That's not to say that it hasn't happened. It certainly hasn't happened in one of our facilities.
You mentioned there's fencing in the Seattle location.
Yep.
Are there other locations that don't have any sort of fencing or netting?
Seattle is the only one that does, and those similar to what we're proposing to do here, those are movable. So our customers can opt to have it closed or open. That's what we'd like to have.
So I will say that, when we looked at this the original time, the first time, right, when we talked about some of these restrictions, I don't think the commission at that point was worried about somebody throwing an axe that way, but there was video at the time out on the internet of an axe being thrown, hitting something and bouncing all the way back to where the person was throwing the axe.
Correct.
So that was part of the videos that we had kind of looked at, right, as we reviewed these things, right, and determined, right? And so I think we were a lot of concern about that, right? So, I mean, that is probably, I would say from my end, that was why I was more interested in some type of safety netting and things of that nature.
Yeah. And I think, just to restate what I probably said then and still believe now, that video circulated because it was not the norm. I think you haven't seen a video like that since then. I would argue that video was at a facility that doesn't have even a shred of the safety standards that we have in place. The timing was unfortunate, but I also completely understand the hesitancy based off of having seen something that, quite frankly, it's a little intimidating when you see a video like that. So fortunately, TikTok has not shown us any videos like that from our facility.
So I am going to make a motion to go into an executive session for the following reason: to consult with the board's attorney on questions and issues on a matter pertaining to the board's powers, duties, privileges, immunities, and liabilities. I'll entertain a motion to go into an executive session.
Then moved and seconded with nays or reservations. We're in executive session. Okay, we're back from executive session where we discussed some of the issues that you laid out here. First of all, just as a point of order, we can't grant a request without you filing a request.
Understood, yeah.
So that's one part of it.
I can put that in, no problem.
And then just for a sense of, thank you for giving us this indication of where you want to go with it. We're inclined to see that 3 beverages would probably be okay, but we still have concerns about the menu. So that's just the sense of the commission right now. We're not making a decision.
Yeah, I would say that if you're going to make those requests formally, then provide any supporting documentation or evidence that you would like for us to consider.
Or your TikTok video.
Not a star yet, but no, we can absolutely submit those requests through the formal channels.
Anything else? Okay, there's no action for this agenda.
Correct.
Okay.
I do have one question, if that's okay. This
Yeah,
is, for the first year, I was to appear every 6 months in person. As far as the request that I make, the discussion of next year or coming out of provisional status, would that be something that we could either speak to or adjust at that time as well? Or what's the kind of process for that?
We could at that time, yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Cool.
All right.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right. Calling
Yep.
agenda item number 8, request number 24-01888.
Thank you, Chair, Commissioners. I promise, last time.
Okay, all right.
Hello,
gentlemen. Hello.
Hi.
Devin Nick over here, representing RB Sports Bar and Grill. To my right is Mr. Edward EDUARD Gschweng, GSCHWENG. He is the owner, operator for RB Sports Bar and Grill. We are in the process of applying for a license and would like to get a temp put in place. There was an issue with the previous owner. They kind of just upped and left. So we actually don't have an opportunity to work out a transfer. That would have been preferable, but it's just not something that we're able to do. So Mr. Gschweng worked out with Commitment Schools, who is the landlord for them to take over the space and for them to apply for a temp license.
Okay.
So. Next questions?
Go ahead.
So I have a couple questions. So basically, with that being said, right?
Yes.
You don't have, the prior licensee has not either turned in their license, or the prior licensee, do they still have a license in effect for that location?
From what I understand, there is no license in effect at that location.
So the former site of Study Hall Sports Bar and Grill, right, we're talking about, they
Yes.
don't actually have a license active.
No, I don't believe so.
I'm gonna ask if we have anybody from administration that either can confirm or deny that. Or have no answer
No,
at this
it's
point.
fine.
Sorry, Commissioner, I do believe it's pending. So there could be a catch to it, like they did supply a renewal, but they didn't meet all the requirements like certificate of insurance and tax clearances.
Okay, so there's a license that's there, but hasn't been fully renewed because they're pending something.
Correct.
So if
And the bar isn't even in operation. It hasn't been for quite a while.
it's dark, when
Yeah,
I
it's
drive
dark.
by.
Yeah,
but-
they haven't never. opened.
But if they were to provide all of that, would that then make them an active license?
Yes. At
Yeah,
that
so
point.
just so everyone understands, right, whatever we discuss here or whatever determination this commission makes, right? If we grant something, right, which gives you the opportunity to put in a license or get a temporary license, if they do their stuff and they get a license, there's gonna be 2 licensed places in the same area, and we're gonna come across a situation of the landlord saying, we took the space over, or we don't, whatever it might be, like we've been stuck in for a few other places, right?
I
So,
understand.
I mean,
Yeah, did you have some?
I can shine some light on the situation. So the owner of Study Hall, I believe his name is Mo, I'm not sure about his last name. When he left, he moved to the space next door, which is Betty's Burgers. And then he kind of sublet it out to University Smokehouse, which is Mike Powell. So they used Study Hall's liquor license. And during that time, the tenant was a horrible tenant. He got evicted by Camp Schools. He was never open. And then he was kind of vindictive when they were closing down and just let the license expire. And they took too much stuff out of the space and whatever. So they went to court with Camp Schools a bunch of times. They, for some reason, still wanted the space, even though they were never open. It was the weirdest thing. It took them like 6 months to evict them. And so they're gone, and we're right across the street on Coin Street. We've been there for 14 years, and our block is gonna get renovated by Camp Schools. So we're trying to move over across the street. And I'm just trying to keep jobs for my staff and everybody that's been there for like the last 14 years. And we have so many things contingent on this liquor license, our whole lease agreement, construction for plumbing, and just to make the space better. And this is where we're at.
But I mean, the intention from Kamehameha Schools is not to work with them again, and they would have to get the landlord authorization in order to even do
I
this.
do also have contact with Mo, so I know him personally. So having two people licensed to the space would not be an issue.
Would it be possible to ask him to withdraw his previous license?
Okay.
I mean, and just so just so everyone understands my view, right, is I'm just looking at these things and trying to stay consistent with the way I've viewed all the prior ones with the same type of situations,
Totally
and
understand.
being consistent in my own views of how I react or give an answer or approve or disapprove on something.
This is exactly how it always goes. Okay, don't worry.
So I mean, I
It's
understand, because
completely-
I will also say, I think I've sat through some adjudications for study hall and stuff of that
Yeah.
stuff, and so I know there was some stuff there, but okay,
We're looking to change the space company and not have to, you know what I mean? We've been across the street for 14 years straight and not have any weirdness like this go on, and we're just looking to straighten out that side of the street. The reason why we're trying to do the temp is because if we just go ahead and reapply, my workers might not have jobs for 6 months or however long it takes to apply for a brand new license all the way through. So we're kind of in a time crunch.
so. I guess my question was going to be to administration, are we able in a sense to, if we were to look to provide an example of saying yes to doing something prior to them getting this guy to pull out his previous license, I guess.
I guess for a corp counsel for the administration, can we provisionally approve the request subject to the withdrawal of the previous?
So the applicant we wouldn't be able to process fully. We could process the application, but they couldn't be able to pick up. That would be the only thing.
Until we're clear that.
Yeah, there's an avenue like that came before you, like kind of like the Ala Shopping Center with that Cherokee thing. Where the landlord has come before us and explained that they want to cancel the license pursuant to 28196 cancellation.
That's another avenue.
So that is an option.
They would just not get approval from them.
Yeah.
Because the landlord got to approve the ability to sell alcohol to even get it, right? So.
And we have that signed form already by the
And now
landlord.
the other one is not.
Yeah. And then it will be a separate request in this.
Okay.
And we do have some time. We're open at our space till May 31st. And then I wanted at least a month, possibly 2, to get everything in order and install new equipment. And so we're not looking to try to be open before July. So, but hopefully my staff won't have too much of a layoff, and you know what I mean, and be out of work for more than a month or 2.
Is the sushi place coming with you?
It is. We have a great idea. So
That helps me.
No, no.
I love Jason.
Jason's are great and
Yeah, yeah.
we work so well together.
Yeah.
So there used to be a giant keg room over there, so it's gonna be almost like a speakeasy sushi
Okay.
room.
Okay, I guess I was going to ask Corporation Counsel or Administration. But, so basically, this is a request to allow them to file for a application after the 5 days, right? When something has happened, right? So if we approve the request to be able to file it after the 5 days, but being conditional upon either the surrender of the license or the landlord stuff coming ahead,
Yeah.
would we be able to do that or we cannot?
I believe that the license would have to be canceled in a standalone temp situation. And that wouldn't be able to happen unless the landlord and you grant the landlord the cancellation.
Okay. All right,
So if the applicant wants to go ahead and reach out to the landlord and have this set for another hearing, then they can do that at the same time. Then you can make a decision on the temp.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm confused.
So basically what they're saying is the land, we have to get community schools.
Yep.
To apply for the cancel it to, you have to come before the board, the commission. And ask them to cancel a license on behalf
Okay.
of the landlord.
Okay,
Once that happens, that clears the way so that then we can do it.
okay,
But you could do them on the same hearing day.
okay.
See that one.
I'm fine with that, if that's how we can do that. I mean, I'm just not sure.
I believe you need to withdraw or this request in particular until that one comes up.
Or you wanna,
Go
Continue.
unless, yeah, if you have a date certain, then. Or you can reach out to the landlord.
You want to continue this one, subject to the other one coming in?
If that's okay,
Otherwise, that's fine.
yeah,
2 weeks.
2 weeks, 2 weeks, okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
And we'll get in touch with
Yeah, yeah.
community schools immediately. Work that out.
Appreciate you wanting to keep the employees employed.
That's,
Yeah.
I have such a good staff right now and like, I've been training them from the ground up, so
Yeah,
I hate for it to. For some.
we hear you.
Yeah, and I mean, we don't want people to lose jobs or be laid off. We just gotta make sure
Oh,
we're
no, for sure.
being consistent with
yeah.
what we're doing with everybody. That's my main thing. That's my
Especially
main
with
thing.
what's been going on across the street, I get it.
So do we need to make a motion to continue it for 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Okay, so my motion will be for agenda item number 8, request number 24-01888. That we not extend, but we make a motion to move it for a 2-week continuance.
Second,
Been moved and seconded for a 2-week continuance of request number 24-01888. Any nays or reservations? Seeing none, I also vote aye. The request, it will be continued.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys, I appreciate it.
All right. Calling agenda item number 9, request number 24-01925 from Bosch and Sato. Sure.
Members of the Commission, recommending show of authorization of hearing on behalf of the applicant and from Mr. Shinsato. Basically, yeah, the request is to move back the first temporary license. They weren't open for business. They opened for business in the first or second week of January. And I can report that the licensing investigator did the initial premises inspection this past Tuesday at 10:30 a.m. So that's the actual application, permanent application is moving forward. We don't know if we'll have enough time, however, even under this extension of the first temporary license, moving it backwards. We'll have enough time, but we'll try to do our best and work quickly. Investigator to
Okay, hold on. Now I have to go back to
precedent before.
yeah. So the first one ended on the 28th. The second one began on the 29th.
Correct.
But it's still open, but you haven't used any of the days on that one?
We haven't used any of the days on the first temporary license. They were still undergoing renovation work.
So I mean, okay, so I think we have in previous situations, right, taken where if you've used your first and then you've used your second. And you haven't reallocated the days in the first. Prior to using the second, you've kind of taken some position that those days have been. Dead in a sense, because it's you're moved to your second one. But I do think we should do, I'm gonna make a motion to go into an executive session. For the purpose to consult with the board's attorneys on questions and issues on a matter pertaining to the board's powers, duties, privileges, immunities, and liabilities. So I'll entertain a motion to go to executive session.
So moved and seconded to go into executive session. I'll vote aye, we are in executive session. All right, we're back from executive session where we were looking at some of our previous precedents in this area. Unfortunately, we have set a policy and practice that once the first temporary has closed and you've begun the second temporary, we will not go back to the first, so.
Commissioner, I understand what you said, but we just had to have just, because they're already open and we're just gonna run out of time. They're gonna
So, Mike,
stop something.
thank you for letting us know. The thing we want to ask though is, so do you have a date in January that you guys opened?
I would say, I did ask the, one of the principals and his recollection was January, the first week of, second week of January, they opened up.
So what we are willing or open to do is take the days that are from December 29th to that January date and move them to after the 27th, because that's part of your second temp that you did not use.
No, that's, I understand what you're saying. I think probably would be about 10 days or something like that. Advice. Do we have to make the request to the commission or can we just unilaterally do that today?
Can we amend it here? Yeah, we can amend
We
it.
can amend it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
You guys have to amend it on the
10
agenda.
days.
who has to amend it? How many people gotta make the motion?
So just to make some motion, the other seconds it, but make sure you're clear on the dates.
I think if we could just I'm just think how we could do that provisionally so that we don't have to come back again because it's so close, the deadline is so
Yeah.
close. If we could provide to maybe the investigator Sato, the dates, that the exact date, would that be the extension would be provisional on the date that we disclose to investigator Sato?
Have to be right now.
We'll accept your best guess.
10 days.
I say 10 days. He said this about the second
good
week of
with that.
January.
I'm agreeable.
Yeah.
So, okay, so my motion will be for request number 24.01925 to agree to move 10 days that were between January 29th and December 29th, 2023 and January 9th, 2024 to follow after 4/27/2024.
But my calculation, if it's 10 days, it would take us to May 7th, I believe. 2024. There's 30 days in April, that's why.
Okay.
Okay, so do we need to say a certain date it would end? With the,
Just have the 10, that way.
okay, so I guess we would take that to add the additional 10 days
On.
from the front of the second standing temporary to the back half of the standing temporary, the additional 10 days.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to append 10 days on to the existing second temporary license to reallocate 10 days that were not used at the beginning. Seeing any nays or reservations, seeing none, I also vote aye. The request is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
And you'll be happy to know on our agenda is to address people that want special license that exceed 30 days. That
Unused
you
days.
mentioned from the last time. Yeah.
Oh, no, he has a retail license, sorry.
That one.
Oh, you have, oh, yeah, that was not so long. Okay, sorry about that.
Thank you.
Thank you. You caught me at a loss there. I was like.
Oh, no, that was last week. You were asking about the previous. Okay. All right, agenda item number 10, Liquor Commission discussion of process, procedures, outlines, and agendas. Let's see, do we have actually anything? I think we did. No. This section. Hold on, actually we did. So I would entertain a motion to go into executive session.
So, or make a motion to go into executive session, which we may go into pursuant to Hawaii Revised Statute, section 92-4 and subsection 92-584 to consult with the board's attorney on questions and issues on the matter pertaining to the board's powers, duties, privileges, immunities, and liabilities, and relating to current and future processes and procedures to be discussed by the commission with liquor administration.
So moved.
Been moved and seconded to go into Executive session, I also vote aye. Executive session. All right, we're back from executive session where we were discussing some of the processes and procedures for measuring and evaluating the work of the Liquor Commission. No action taken. Agenda item number 11, a discussion with the Liquor Commission administration to implement a temporary license fee application relief program. And oddly enough, this came out of our last session of discussing policies and procedures relevant to this topic.
Good evening, Commissioners. Sapatilas, Administrator of Honolulu Liquor Commission. Last week, you had asked for the agency to prepare a presentation on how we would handle having applicants for specials for longer than 30-day period. The issue that was of concern to you was the costs associated with the daily costs associated with specials, to the point where, like, when somebody applies for a 90-day special, it would be an amount of $8,100 that they have to provide to the commission. And so you're concerned because of the quorum issues that perhaps it'd be best to try to have applicants have a longer period of time in terms of the licenses that they apply for. And so Akiko Reyes, acting Administrative Service Officer, is going to provide a presentation on how we would handle something like that. Go.
Again, my apologies. The presentation, this presentation will be uploaded on the board packet after the today's hearings. And okay. And this is not our agency recommendation. It's more presenting you with the information. And this is a license fee application relief program. This is a temporary program for special and catering license applications in excess of 30 days in duration. I start with purpose and benefits that may possibly come out of this program. Number one, applicant reduces the number of applications to submit. So instead of submitting multiple times, if it's long term, it's one application. And for investigator, reduces the number of applications to review. Even though it's same applications, he still have to thoroughly review, so that will be cut down. For commission, again, reduces the number of approvals, looking at the similar application over and over again for approval. So those are the benefits I see. Number two, for applicant doesn't have to upfront a large fee payment. For example, special general license fee is $90 per day. In order for somebody to apply for long term, let's say 90 days would cost them $8,100. And then number three, by making it a smaller fee and shorter license period this is what I'm hoping, reduce the number of refunds or reallocation of unused fee requests to approve and process. That's a request that we are all spending time to process as well. So with this, we are hoping that less requests coming through. So next one is gonna show you the ideal process of this program. So I kind of started with a current date. So as we always inform the applicant, we like to at least minimum 6 weeks before the first event or first start date of this long-term special, they will submit the application with the first month payment. Reviewing process goes through May 23rd. Around that time, it will go before commission for review and approval. And then that will be done for, this example is for 90 days. Just this is for the purpose of this presentation. And will be approved for 90-day period. First month payment has been already made. So we will issue a license for 30-day period on June 1st. When towards the end of the first license expiration date, licensee should come to our office. They do not have to resubmit the application because application has been approved for the 90-day period, but they will make a payment and then we will issue a license. So, and then July 1st, second period will begin. Expired license must be returned. And then again, towards the end of July, they will make a payment. And then last 30-day license will be issued. And then August 29, that's the end of the approval date, and license period will end. This is the ideal process. So if I flip the next slide, you will see something for commission to discuss. So this, again, this license application was approved for 90-day period starting June 1st to August 29th. That's the 90 days. I'm gonna skip the reviewing part and then go right into June 1st. License was issued. June 30. This is the discussion number 1. Payment was not received. License will expire. At that point, the good thing about not issuing 90-day period, but increment for what they have paid, is that we don't have to worry about them having the liquor license that is shown the different date from the payment date. So, so they no longer have active license, no liquor sales allowed from July 1st until second payment is submitted. And the second license, license is, payment is submitted and the second license is issued. Expired license again should be returned to the office. July 11th, second payment received. License is renewed and issued to the applicant, license holder, and another 30-day period start. And then we're gonna be discussing about scenario number 1, scenario number 2. So August 9th, second license will expire. And then license, they make a payment right before. We're gonna issue the remaining days, which is 19 days. And then August 29th, the license period will end. Scenario number 2 is when permanent license is issued before the ending of the approved period. So again, remaining balance was paid for 19 days. License was issued for August 10th to 29th. 5 days later, permanent license was issued. 15 days paid, however, there will be unused days for August 15 to 29. Okay. And then next slide. I kind of put discussion in the order. So number 1, when payment is not received, license will not be issued until payment is submitted, so that we don't have to send the enforcement when payment is not paid and making sure they are not, it's expired, they wouldn't have an expired license. However, license holders, it will be a license holder's responsibility to remember to renew the license. Just like for temporary license, our office does not remind them for temporary license to renew. It's their responsibility. So we're gonna take the same, we would like to take the same position where it will be a licensee's responsibility to come and make payment to get the license issued. But that is some
I have a
discussion.
question for, for enforcement or maybe for corp counsel. So on the day that their special license expires, right? Let's say that 2 days later, they're still serving alcohol. They're actually an unlicensed premise, right? And so, on the whole, we're trying not to go to unlicensed premises. But in this case, maybe we want to double check to make sure that they're not utilizing a license that they don't have. I think that's kind of solidly within our authority to do, or are there any questions or comments?
Okay, so every renewal period from June 30th to July 1st, enforcement does do a routine check of all the licensed premises that hasn't affected permanent license. They do go out, and if they do observe a violation of sales, service, or consumption on a licensed area, a notice of violation is issued. And that will be under the term of license rule. So they do checks for licensed premises that turn unlicensed.
But this is a spot that has a special license that isn't licensed at all typically, except for the special license, right?
Correct, and they would be bounded by, if they're already approved for, like, let's just say a term of 90 days, and they do pay it provisionally and they get it back in effect, they do become another licensee. Typically, like most cases that I've been seeing as far as special licenses, they are connected to a more permanent license. So at some point, they will become a licensee, but if they don't, we can follow up with them as far as that goes.
But I think though that, so if I understand your question, the concern is right that because they don't have an active license, it's an unlicensed establishment. But the question I would have is, we would still have jurisdiction because we have given them 90-day license, but they have not paid for the additional 30 and 60 days.
I thought it expired on that day, so they're actually an unlicensed premise.
But it's our conditional approval, right, is for that whole 90 days, as long as they pay for each one. So would we not consider them falling in that 90-day window, even though they didn't pay? And we still could go to them?
Oh,
So,
that's my question.
That's, I mean,
Thank you.
Okay, as far as like unlicensed premises is concerned, anything under the 281, which is the liquor laws, that enforcement can enforce under the law.
so the discussion number 2, where it says license expired, I listed some of
Yes.
the items. to
Oh,
point
she
out.
had it right here. Thank you.
So when the license is like, although we approve for 90-day period, they paid for first month and that term has expired. At that point, they must stop sale liquor. And then like it is again, license holders' responsibility to remember to stop sales when license is expired. And liquor license must be returned until they are ready to make another payment. It may be cited for violation of the rule, section 3-82-31.4, subsection C, where it states that, sorry. Okay, upon the expiration of the license and until that license is renewed and issued. So although the application may be approved, it's not issued. The sale of liquor on the premises is prohibited. And so that is, the rule is there. So I just wanted to insert that information there. And then also, discussion number 3, approved for 90-day period. If a license is not issued due to non-payment, the license period and date shall not extend it by the number of unused days. I only put that because I think applicant may be sometimes confused or not clear. The application period 90 days, that doesn't mean, or unless specifically asked differently, it's for that 90-day period. So there is
It's the 90 days that we approved.
So yes, so for example, that number 3 on the scenario number 1, they didn't use 19 days. However, it will end on August 29, not 30 days from.
Right, from
Yes.
late renewal.
And then I also wanted to discuss related matters. Number 4, refund versus reallocating fees for the unused days. Even though I anticipate that these type of requests may not come through as often, just because they're paying smaller amount. Whereas if they approve for 90 days and they pay 8,000, but only use for 2 weeks, then of course,
Yeah.
to wait for 6 to 8 weeks to get refunded could be burden for the applicant. However, since it's shortened, but they may still ask. So let's say second period was submitted, but then I like to use the unused date for the third period, for example. That kind of request may come up, or pause, extend, or whatnot. Anyways, for number 4, when the permanent license is issued, it might be a different story, but this is in general term when applicants come for refund or reallocating fees for unused days in general, like either we just had one. Challenges, especially with reallocating unused days to either extend the license period or sometimes even ask to use that fee for a different application. The challenges I find is that verification of unused days is very difficult to do because they had a license on hand. However, it's like we weren't open. It's difficult to verify their word after the fact. And then number 2, there is a system limitation with applying the fee to a different application. Our system is not designed, at least currently, to allocate fees properly. So we are doing manual recording to notate that. However, we have to remember that we use another system that is for the entire city. So it gets very complicated when we try to do reallocating of fees because there's the centralized way to process that, let's say for refund, going through the city accounting department. That policy and procedure is set. So we follow exactly, and that is recorded properly. But when it comes to reallocation of fees, it is very difficult to making sure it is properly recorded. And it's still, to this day, it's a struggle to making sure that in case we get asked to show that record, it's very difficult to do. It's hard to explain at this point, but.
So would it be more helpful since we're trying to provide this flexibility, right? If you're within a month, you're about to pay and you think that you're not going to use the full days, like in the permanent is about to be granted. Can we allow them to only pay for the first 5 days rather than the full amount that they requested, and then it expires early?
Actually, I guess refund is better than real allocating unused date because we have a proper way to, we have a set policy and procedures that we follow for the citywide. And that's the cleanest way to give
I understand.
yeah.
Okay.
And then also this, if you extend like unused date, extend the period, the challenges we see is that submitted documents do not cover for the extension, the period such as landlord authorization is not, it has to be resubmitted. and neighborhood board notification. So those are the challenges we see with that type of request. And then those are all the information I can
Oh, thank
provide.
Thank you so much for pulling that together so quickly.
What is the financial impact by changing this from a revenue standpoint?
Revenue standpoint, I don't see a huge impact at all because if they don't use, we ended up getting either refund or most of the time apply. So overall total revenue we're receiving will remain the same.
So the fee just doesn't change, it's just cut up and the
Cut up.
application doesn't.
And
Okay.
they're just
I
gonna,
just want to make sure.
yeah.
And then by doing this process, are there any additional operational burdens put on the staff here that they would have to do a new process that they haven't been doing before, or is it actually less because of all the reasons that you stated earlier of less applications, less?
In my opinion, like I stated in the first slide, I think operationally, it's gonna reduce a lot of staff's work time.
Because we're putting the onus on the licensee, right? We're not sending reminders and all that.
Yes,
But when they receive the payment, it's pretty automated on know where to apply it to, given.
yeah,
Yeah.
just issuing the license is very simple.
I mean, the renewal part, so like if
Renewal part.
the
is
first 30 days, second 30 days, they send in their check.
Check.
And is it automated to know that, okay, Joe sent it in on time, so they get the 30-day clock versus
So for us, whether they pay on time or
it's still the 30. Yeah.
it's, it doesn't really matter. It's actually on the licensee side. When they don't pay on time, they don't get to sell.
Yeah.
And then they're putting themselves at risk if they keep putting that expired license on the wall. And
Because
then,
the license is only good for 30
Yeah.
days.
So they just run the risk of getting caught.
So,
I was trying to make sure they could get caught.
Yeah, but it would be too.
so in the payment process, are we looking to have a payment process where they come down to pay or they can mail in a payment? I mean, I think, I'm just asking because obviously, if you pay your next 30 days, you want to get that next license that issues you the next 30 days.
Right.
You know what I mean?
We should make it as painless as possible.
they will not be able to pay online because we'll be creating the application in the system. And however, they can mail the check. They don't really have to actually come to our office to make payment. They just have to remember to send the payment. And then,
Then we'll mail them the,
no, they will have to sign. And then,
so they'll have to come down and sign it. Okay,
Say that part again. When they have to-
so they can mail the payment,
Yeah.
but they will have to come to pick up a license.
Okay,
because
it
they
has
have
the
to
next
return-
expiration date.
And then also because they have to return their first
Old one.
license.
It's
So
kind of
that-
like when, yeah,
Seamless would be right
Yeah,
where they send it
yeah.
and it goes to them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like, yeah, I mean,
I'm just trying to think of less friction for them and less operational burden for us.
And then within the commission here, we need to set our policy on, I'm in the second month, but I want to reclaim days that I didn't use from the first month, and so.
Yeah, I'm thinking that we just say no refunds or reallocations. I mean, we're making the process easier. And the refunds and reallocations look like it puts a greater administrative burden on the team. the staff.
Unless their permanent license comes in and we have a definitive date than which the temporary is no longer.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's valid.
I would,
Okay.
I would say the reallocation part, no, but I think the refund part
Yes.
might, even if it doesn't have a permanent license, because there could be a point where they get through their first 30 days, they get to their second 30 days
They
and
wanna
2 weeks
end.
in, they either want to end or they want, their landlord says, sorry,
Yeah.
we're pulling your ability to sell alcohol or whatever, right? Then they should be able to at least get refunded the remainder portion. But
That
I'm-
requires an action from them to initiate that process.
Yeah.
Okay, it's the onus is,
Yes.
okay.
there's a
I'm good with that.
reallocation, I'm already against with a use. past.
Reallocation of, yeah.
We're already giving them a way to. get
This is
easier.
just open discussion. Yeah. So, and I'm not sure that we need to take action yet.
When can we?
yeah, if we wanted to implement this, would we need to bring it up at another agenda item? For
I
a
mean,
vote?
do you guys have any questions for administration about the implementation so that you guys can?
I guess, yeah,
How quickly could we get it up and running? Tomorrow? Next month?
Sorry, I believe we're already processing a lot of 90 days, so.
in
I mean,
anticipation of us doing this, or just in warning that we gave last session to say.
Yeah.
We might,
As far as the process goes, I mean, it'll be good to get a little bit lead time, so that way we can at least notify the public. And give them the opportunity to, you know, have awareness of, hey, you can do this now.
yeah. Because all the people that applied for 90 days paid for 90 days upfront already,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I do have some stats, if you wanted to know about the specials since 2023.
Oh,
Um,
good to hear.
so out of the 170 applicants for special licenses from January 1 to December 31st, 2023. The multiple dates one was 65 over 170. So out of 170 special license applications, 65 of those were multiple dates.
In more than 30 days.
And or
Two back to back.
yeah, 2, 4. The one that exceeds more than the 3-day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And as far as 2024, January 1st till now, we have 44, of which multiples are 23. So it kind of like doubled.
This sounds like a popular program. Yeah.
I'm good with
Yeah, me too.
I'm just trying to think how we would, if we say like in 2 weeks, we want to put something on a public agenda saying that these are the processes we're looking at implementing and then implementing in like 4, you know, what I mean, giving them enough time to know that starting from.
May 1st.
But I don't think the public needs to ramp up for it. It's just internally, because they're the ones that are applying, and if the flexibility is there earlier, they can take advantage of it, and otherwise.
They would learn about it when they come in here to apply, or, oh no, this is the new process now, right?
Yeah, and so we can, you know, kind of discuss it. We're discussing it here. I think we could put it on the agenda for approval next week.
Or would we need to give a date, certain start date for guys, since they're already,
Like, do we want to put it on the agenda for next week? So the policy will take effect like
The following
May
week.
15th or I don't know how much time.
Okay.
And that would be up, so I guess what we would want to do is put it on the agenda for a vote for approval and have the administration give us a day that you think would be amenable for implementation.
Yeah.
Good with that.
Yeah, good with that.
So
I mean, do you guys have a time frame in which you guys could start the program?
I don't think we can take action.
we're not-
As far as long as public is informed, and then internally, it's, we can start right away as far as my section and accounting, you're okay too.
So the public notification would be posted on the website, or would that suffice?
I believe we have a list of all the authorized agents who normally do business with us, so that'll be the first stop. So like the attorneys.
Okay,
and agents.
okay,
And we can e-blast.
e-blast.
So what you guys can do now is make a motion to start that process of giving public notice or notice to the practitioners, doing an e-blast, posting on whatever other ways in which liquor posts public information or public announcements. And then that way you guys can have a date certain on the agenda for voting. But the date will be given to you by the agent, so that it's on their right.
Sorry, is the restriction would be on the same time, or like as far as like refunds versus reallocation?
That's up to you guys, whatever works for you guys.
Yeah, I thought we heard, right, refunds are better, no reallocation, and so
Agree.
that sounds best. Us. Us and the
The whole
collective us. Yep. So
We need a motion.
we need a motion.
Yeah, I would do the motion to advise the agency to start the public outreach,
Public notification.
correct?
Okay.
In all the fashions in which they described. And then put on the next agenda, when do you guys want it on the next agenda item?
I want to do it as quickly as makes sense without rushing anything.
We can put it on the agenda as soon as possible,
Yeah.
but the start date could be.
Is set by the administration. So let's do that. So next week we'll have it on the agenda for approval, subject to beginning at your discretion.
Okay, so I'll make a motion for agenda item number 11 that we have the administration start the notification process to the public in regards to the public as well as practitioners in regards to this new special and catering license application situation process and fees, and that this agenda item be placed on next week's agenda item for a vote. And date to start would be subject to the administration's determination of when it would feasibly be able to start.
Second.
There's a motion that's been kind of verbally stated very at length, and there's been a second, seeing no nays or reservations. I also vote aye, the motion carried. All right,
It's on the record.
yes.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Calling agenda item number 12, liquor administrative. Yes.
South Kilos Administrative Honolulu Liquor Commission. I know I sound like a broken record, I think in terms of what I speak about here, but I think for us, the ability to ensure that we have staff is really important. So I think the fact that we have once again gone through a process of interviewing additional people for LCI 1 positions, I think is important for the agency. And we continue to try to bolster the number of individuals in enforcement, which is important not only for enforcement, but also for licensing, and that the enforcement staff is essentially the feeder for licensing as they move up in the organization. And again, I think it highlights the importance of us being able to finish our proposed reorganization of the field services branch. And to that end, I know that we submitted to DHR and BFS a final version of our proposal for final review. And hopefully that'll the comments will come soon. And after that, we plan to send a proposal to HGEA for their approval. Fingers crossed that we're able to do that. And after that process, after we get HGEA approval, then it has to go through the city approval process, has to go through BFS as well as the managing director. I think those are really important aspects for the agency to try to address. I think especially when it comes to enforcement investigators, I think it's going to be relatively fluid. We're trying to do this to retain people, but that said, I know that people will find greener pastures. And so what we want to do is make sure that we have sufficient staff to keep going and maybe eventually make it through the process so that we can feed both, provide upward mobility and feed resources into licensing as well. And also I forgot, I'm sorry. We were also able to conduct an interview with an interesting candidate for the contract employee that will be helping licensing deal with the backlog. So again, fingers crossed.
Thank you. Okay, I think That's it. Agenda item number 13, Liquor Commission. Any announcements?